Hi, my name is Rachel and this is Flow on Yoga, and I know it's been a long time since we posted a new video, but I am back, and today we are going to do a quick run through of my own personal practice that I do for back pain. So when my lower back's hurting, I have a lot of lower back pain right through here, so I'm going to walk you through what I do when I wake up with a really stiff back. And oftentimes this happens because I haven't done yoga for a while, or I've been sitting down a lot at work, or I've been doing heavy lifting, and lately I've been doing a remodel on my house and not doing yoga, so subsequently, I have a very sore back. So follow along with me, and this is something that you can do anytime. And we're going to start standing up today, actually, because when your back's sore, getting down on the ground can actually be really painful. So the way I start when my back hurts is by standing up. And if you're doing this, I want you to start standing up like this on the back of your mat. But I'm actually going to face you so you can see what I'm doing from the front. So we're going to set up for a mountain pose. So you want your feet right here about hip distance apart, so feel your hip bones are about right here, and generally that's going to be about a fist, maybe a little bit more between your feet. And then really take a minute to make sure that everything's in alignment. Make sure your feet are really planted and grounded down into the earth, and then ankles are directly underneath your knees, which are directly underneath your hips, and then on up all the way to your neck. Make sure you have a neutral pelvis and that our gaze is straight forward. Crown of the head is kind of tall, reaching up. There was something stirring in the tree over there. And then our palms of our hands are gonna face forward down by our sides and just kind of relax them. And when you do this thing where you just kind of place your palms forward and relax, you should kind of feel this natural lowering of your shoulder blades. You don't have to force them down. You should just naturally kind of feel this, your shoulder blades sinking down a little bit. And so when you get to this position, we're just going to take a minute and connect with our breath. So I invite you to close your eyes if you're feeling balanced. If you're not, feel free to leave your eyes open and maybe just soften your gaze a little bit. And we're going to start taking those deep inhales and exhales through our nose, that Ujjayi breath. On the inhales, fully inflating the belly, breathing in as deeply as you possibly can, and then fully exhaling on those exhales. And one more deep inhale. And exhale. And then on your next inhale, we're going to lift our hands over our head, maybe lifting your gaze to follow your hands, and then exhale, hands down through heart center. And we're going to do that 3 more times with your own breath. So inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And one more time, buddy, you're on the camera. It's okay. Inhale and exhale. And just take a moment here. Keep continuing those breathings. We're hand here at heart center. Keep doing those breaths, the deep inhales and deep exhales. And if you have your own personal intention for today, I want you to kind of bring your awareness to that, your focus on that intention now. And if you don't have your own intention for today's practice, I invite you to do the intention of grace. Grace for yourself, for your own practice, for your body. Offering grace to yourself when you make mistakes or when you're not living up to what expectations you have placed on yourself. Just knowing that having loving kindness and grace for yourself is how we move past those mistakes, or we learn to be content where we are right now. I'm going to do one more inhale, raising our hands, and then exhale, and then we're going to get started with our practice. Inhale and exhale. And now, the first thing I usually do for these practices where my lower back is hurting is I inhale, lift the arms, and then I take my left hand to my right wrist, and then just do a little tilt to the left. So we're stretching out the right side of our body. And when these tilts, our goal is not to see how far we can tilt over. It's actually to see how much of a stretch we can get, how much space we can create down the side of our body. And the way to do that is not to just lean as far as we can over. It's to make sure we're balancing that lean with a reach. So we really want to take this hand and reach it as far out as we can while we're bending. And then you're really going to feel that nice stretch, creating space all through your ribs and down your side. And on your next exhale, we're going to come back through the center. Inhale briefly here in the center, and then exhale over to your right. Really reaching, reaching, reaching with that left arm. And if having your hand up here doesn't feel great, you can always bring this hand right down here to your side. That's okay, or even release it. You're still going to get that same stretch through your side body. Really stretching, feeling that space, breathing into those spaces. And on your next exhale, we're going to come up to center. Inhale briefly here, exhale through heart center, and release. And what we're going to do now, and this may feel a little silly, widen your stance just a little bit, and we're just going to start doing little twists. So twist to the right and to the left. Kind of let your arms swing with you. This should feel really good on your lower back. And then maybe if it feels okay for you, start making these twists a little bigger. The arm swings a little bigger. Maybe getting your legs into it a little bit. Making sure that your breath continues flowing through those twists. Twisting, twisting. I don't know if this pose actually has a name, but it feels really great when your lower back's hurting. So it's our yoga, our practice. We're doing what feels good for our bodies today. And just go ahead and do a couple more of these. And then all of you should be standing at the back of your mat. And I'm going to make my way over to the back of my mat right now. You go ahead and do a few more arm swings if you want. And then go ahead and come back into that mountain, finding a place of stillness back here. And then if this feels comfortable for you, recognizing that it may not, we're going to interlace our fingertips behind our fingers behind our back. If that doesn't feel good, you can grab your wrists or your elbows. And what we're going to do, if your hands are here, we're really grounding your knuckles towards the earth, down past the tailbone, kind of opening our chest a little bit. If you're like this, you just kind of hold on to it, maybe sinking the shoulder blades down a little bit. And then we're going to begin slowly from the hips to hinge forward. Just a little bit to about here. If you feel any pinching in your back, that's your body telling you this is where I need to stop right now. And pausing here, trying to keep the palms of your hands together, the heel of your hand if you can. It's okay if you can't. And breathing, and maybe on those exhales we're finding ourselves getting a little deeper. Maybe we're not. It's okay to have a nice bend in your knees here. Don't lock your knees. Make sure there's at least a soft little bend. And we're very, very gently going to release our hands from wherever they are and bring them right here to our thighs. And then you might need to bend your knees even more. And we're just going to very slowly, one hand at a time, walk our hands towards our feet. So maybe to get there you need to bend your knees. Maybe our torso doesn't want to go anymore. So maybe we need to bend our knees to get there. We're just going to hang out here a minute in this forward fold. And this should feel really nice. And get a little bit of stretch and extension and release through your spine, through your lower back, letting the head hang. And just connecting here for a moment to that breath. One more deep inhale. And exhale. And then from here, we're very, very slowly, and again, with a nice generous bend in your knees if you need it, we're going to walk our hands forward on our mat into a down dog. You can also do this from your knees. So you can lower your knees and walk your hands forward like this. I'm going to stay up here. And then from here, I want you to kind of pedal out your feet if you're standing and not on your knees. This should give us a really nice stretch through our calves. And you can even kind of begin to look underneath each armpit, the opposite armpit as you do that. So as your right knee is bending, you're looking through your left, under your left armpit, left knee under your right. Just kind of walking out, getting a little bit of a twist. And then from here, we're going to exhale. On your next exhale, lower your knees into a tabletop. And then from here, and if this doesn't feel good on your wrists, you can always put your elbows right down where your wrists are and do this on your forearms. That's okay too. And we're going to move through some cat-cow, which also feels really great on your back. So on an inhale, we're going to drop our belly, lift our gaze right up past that third eye. And then exhale, curl it in, chin to chest. Inhale and exhale, and feeling free to kind of start doing these at your own time with your own breath. Finding some movement that feels good for you. Maybe if your back is hurting today like mine, these are very small movements. And maybe as we begin to work through those spaces that are feeling tight, we can make them a little bigger, or maybe not. Maybe we stay with a real small lift and curl. Again, feeling free to pause anywhere. Maybe pause some motion in your hips, which again can feel really good for your lower back. Maybe some circles. I like coming up on my toes and my fingertips and getting a good stretch through my shoulder blades and the cat. And then on the cows, when I like doing my hip circles. So wherever you are now, go ahead and finish one more round. And then come back to neutral. And then from this neutral, we're going to do a wide-legged child's pose. So toes together, knees come out as wide as your mat. And if you have a pillow or a block or something, if your hips are feeling really tight, you can put that and have something to rest your hips on if they're not going all the way back to your feet. And we're gonna stretch it forward. Very gently lower our head down to the ground. Remember using your arms or a block or a pillow as a pillow for your forehead if you need it. And just here kind of release, let go, kind of letting go of any tension in your back, while also feeling that extension in your spine. And then from here, we're going to begin to slowly walk our fingertips towards the right of our mat. And now the most important thing, you really don't have to go very far with your right arm. It's this left arm that you really want to just reach it. And again, just like that standing side bend, it's not how far to the side you can go, it's balancing between stretching out and over. So if you're somewhere and you feel like you want a little bit more stretch, maybe try, instead of walking your hands more to the side, maybe try walking them forward a little bit and see if that opens up those spaces down your left side body. Now, very slowly on an exhale, walk it through. Same thing on the other side. So arms to the left this time, feeling a stretch through the right side of our body. And on an exhale, back through center. Slowly walk it up and bring those knees together. And we're going to come up just like this. And we're going to do just a really small mini camel. And one thing, because we've been doing a lot of stretching our backs and rounding our backs forward, so we're going to do a little bit of opening our chest, just a little micro back bend. If you have a very flexible, very bendy lower back, you can feel free to go deeper into this. I do not. I have never had a very flexible back. I'm not sure that I ever will. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start right here, heels of our hands kind of right here into like the top of your pelvis. And then fist, and we're just gonna lean back just a little bit and lift the gaze. Kind of bring your elbows back as well. What you wanna make sure is that your hips stay over your knees, so we're not leaning back like this. We want just the work to be in our back, not in our legs. And if from here you're feeling really good and you can go back further, you can feel to reach down towards your heel, maybe with one hand or maybe with both. I'll show you when I do that. You can see here on the camera that my legs are no longer straight. So that means I cannot personally go that deep into this stretch. So I'm going to stay right here. And staying right here is just fine. And just breathe here. And on your next exhale, we're going to rise it up. Bring your legs to one side. We're going to come down to seated. We're going to cross our legs in front of us, and we're going to do a little twist. So we're going to do twist to the right. So we bring our left hand to our right knee, then our left hand back behind us. Just do a little twist. And remember, we want to be using our core, our back, our muscles. We don't want to be using our hands. We want to be using this part of our body to do the twist. And the way to test to see if you're doing that is to lift your hands and see if your body stays in the same place. If you're really pulling back with your hands and you let go, you'll kind of snap forward a little bit. And if you do that, maybe that's where you need to stay. And then maybe as we breathe on those exhales, maybe we can twist a little deeper, but maybe not. Just not relying on those hands. Those are just there for some support, not to be doing the work for us. And remembering when we're in this twist to keep our breaths deep. A lot of times when we're twisting, we want to make our breaths a little more shallow, but we do not want to do that here. We want to keep those deep, full inhales and exhales. And then on your next exhale, we're going to just walk it over and do the same thing on the other side. Maybe doing that little hand test again if you need to or if you want to. Totally optional. And then on an exhale, gently release, come back to the front. We're going to do a forward fold with cross legs. And what you want to do for this is make sure as you're hinging forward from your hips, your tailbone, your sits bones are staying grounded. So as we're leaning up, making sure to keep that tailbone down. And when our tailbone starts to lift up, that's our body inviting us to kind of bring it back just a little bit to where we can keep our tailbone, sits bones firmly on the ground. We're going to start with our hands right here in front of us and then just begin to slowly walk them forward. And when you feel that tailbone lifting, it's your body inviting you to take a little pause and breathe. Maybe let some of those muscles relax. Let that stretch. Loosen up. And then maybe after a couple breaths in this spot, maybe you can walk forward a little more, or maybe you can't. Just stopping at your edge. Feeling some extension through that spine. And some love to your lower back. And sending breath to anywhere that you're feeling tightness or pain in your body. And that breath to not only help the body, but to calm the mind. To stay right here in this present moment. If your mind starts to wander, just acknowledge whatever thought it is that you're having. And then just let it float by. Just breathe it out. And bring your attention right back to your breath. Just be gentle and kind. Have grace for yourself. And then on your next inhale, begin to very slowly and very carefully from wherever you are, walk back up out. And we're going to extend our right leg, leaving our left leg curled in, the sole of the foot onto the inner thigh of the right leg. We're going to kind of adjust our hips a little bit to where our belly button is kind of squared, centered to that right leg. Kind of take a minute here to adjust. Make sure you're setting up tall. One way that I like to kind of make sure that I'm taller, and this is a great visualization exercise, kind of raise your arms and then just kind of pretend like you're walking your spine and your ribs up, like you're getting taller with each little reach. And then on your exhale, we're just gonna fold forward, letting your hands fall wherever it is. Maybe that's here on the ground, maybe it's your thigh, maybe it's your shin, your ankle, or your toes. Making sure to keep that spine nice and extended. Tailbone bottom planted into the ground. Stretch, stretch, stretch through the back. Maybe bending that knee of your extended leg just a little bit if you need it. And then on your next exhale, rounding the back and releasing it down. And then from here, we're going to take our right hand to our right toes, or maybe we need to do shin, thigh here on the ground. And we're going to take our left hand and we're going to kind of open it up just a little bit. And maybe you want to come out of this a little more so you can get more of a side body stretch in this as well. So maybe we're doing it from here. Or maybe we're coming down here. Just trying to get this opening through your chest as much as possible, trying to stack your shoulders on top of one another. So instead of rounding down like this. In this nice wide opening, you can bring your hand here behind your back or extended forward. On our next exhale, we're gonna twist it back around and then slowly begin to walk out of it. And we're gonna do that same thing on the other side. So extending your left leg, sole of your right foot into your left thigh, arms up, and then just walking up like you're trying to expand your spine and your ribs, getting taller with each little reach. Deep inhale, and then on an exhale, we fold forward, finding length, extension through the crown of our head, extension through our spine, stretching, stretching, stretching wherever our hands are, finding them a comfortable place to rest, and on an exhale, curling the spine, chin to chest, letting it go. And then, same thing we did last time, left hand, left leg, reach up with your right arm. Maybe we want to come up a little taller here. Maybe we're up here. Maybe we want to bring that hand kind of a bind behind the back. We have this opening across the chest. You can see it better on this side, how we're trying to keep our shoulder blades stacked. We don't want our shoulder rounding towards the other shoulder, but open, this nice open chest. And then on an inhale, squaring the shoulders towards the leg, and exhale, rounding it down. And then inhale, slowly walking back up out of that. I'm going to bring the soles of the feet to the ground, knees up. I'm just going to do a little windshield wiper, and this is going to feel really good on your lower back. Just like this. And then either using your hands to support you if you need it, or holding onto your knees, or arms straight out in front of you, interlace fingers, pointer fingers pointing forward, really engaging your core. I'm going to scoot forward just a little bit, engaging your core by belly button to spine and lifting up. We're going to slowly lower down one single vertebrae at a time, all the way down. Knees are still up. I still missed the edge of my mat. Try that again. There we go. Maybe bringing your heels a little closer to your bottom and just doing that windshield wiper one more time. Whew, that sun is getting hot out here, so I'm gonna probably close this out pretty soon. Almost done. Giving yourself, doing these windshield wipers gives you like a little bit of a low back massage and a little stretch too. And then next time you come through center, pause. Start to bring the soles of the feet together and letting your knees fall out towards the side into a reclined bound angle, or Supta Baddha Konasana. A little bit of opening through your hips and inner thighs. And then from here, we're going to take our right knee. Actually, we're going to kind of bump our hips just a little bit to the right first. And then we're going to take our right knee through center and to the left in a little supine twist. You can leave your hands right here on your belly, or you can extend them out straight, or cactus arms. The grass makes my arms itch, so I'm going to leave mine right here on my belly. But then you can also look your head to the opposite direction that your legs are going. So in my case, that'd be to the right, which is right towards the sun. So I'm going to keep my gaze neutral too, but feel free to do your gaze over your right shoulder. And then we're going to take that right leg back up through center and out to the side. And then just do the same thing to the other side. So left leg through, bump your hips to the left first. Then take that left leg through the center and over to the side. And I'm gonna look over my left shoulder this time, since that'll get the sun out of my face. Remember, arms can go wide, or they can do cactus. I'm going to keep mine right here on my belly so I don't make the grass make my arms itch. Inhales and exhales in this twist. Full inhales, deep, full exhales. And then that left leg is going to open back to the left side. Bring those hips back to neutral. Using your hands to assist you on the outside of your thighs, we're going to lift the legs back together, soles of the feet on the ground, and then we're going to hug our knees in to our chest. You can also lift your forehead towards your knees if you want. Feel a really tight squeeze, get a good stretch through the back of your neck and through your shoulder blades. Lower back down here, and you can stay right here, or you can do some hip circles, and this is also going to feel really good on your back. Just some little hip circles, or maybe rocking from side to side. Either one. And again, pausing any places where you need some attention. Like my lower back pain seems to be very centered on the right side in general. So sometimes I like to kind of go to the right and do like little semicircles right here on this right side. It's almost like doing a little bit of myofascial release, except using the ground instead of a roller or a ball. And if you are doing circles, make sure to reverse and circle in the opposite direction. I'm going to focus right here on this right side, because that's where my pain mostly comes from. And then wherever you are, we're going to do one more tight, tight, tight squeeze, maybe lifting your forehead here, squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. And then with control, gently releasing the soles of the feet and the head back down to the ground. You can stay right here as we set up for Shavasana with your knees up. If you like that bound angle, that Baddha Konasana, you can put the soles of your feet together and let your knees open towards the side and get that hip opening. Maybe if you have a lot of back pain, what can feel really good is kind of heel-toeing your toes, your feet out towards the edge of your mat and letting your knees come in. Or you can feel free to go ahead and stretch out one leg, then the other towards the corners of your mat. Just kind of settling down. And also, if you're pregnant or if laying on your back just does not feel good for you for whatever reason, you can always do this laying on your side. From wherever you are, find a comfortable place for your hands. Maybe that's on your belly, down by your side with palms up. If you want to get a little bit more opening through your chest and relaxing through your shoulders, maybe lifting up just briefly and tucking your shoulder blades behind you, and you'll kind of feel your shoulders opening and releasing a little bit when you do that. Just taking a moment here to just let everything go. Relax. Let the ground do all the work for you. And if you have the time, I invite you to pause this video right now and maybe set a timer for like 8 or 9 minutes. And just lay here in this Shavasana for about another 10 minutes total. So about 8 or 9 more minutes right now. I understand if you're busy, so I'm going to go ahead and lead us through the end of our practice. So as you're ready, we're going to begin to very slowly start moving our toes and our fingertips, circling our wrists and our ankles, connecting back into those deep inhales and exhales. Make our ways over onto our side, whichever side you want. gently and carefully. I'm going to face towards you, using our bottom arm as a pillow. Just here for a moment, maybe bring your legs up in a little closer. Now using that top arm to assist you and maybe straightening out that top leg, we're going to sit up to a comfortable seated position. Again, using any props that you need. I have some videos on different ways we can use props, but you can put pillow or blocks or a blanket under your hips. You can also sit on top of your legs or have your legs to one side or the other. Just find whatever spot is comfortable. Maybe our hands are cupping the knees. Maybe our palms are open. Maybe our hands are here in our lap. And I invite you, if you're comfortable to do so, to close your eyes. Just take a couple deep breaths. Thank your body for the practice today, for what it does for you. Thank yourself for choosing to do something just for you today. Give yourself some grace for anything that you maybe wished you'd have done in today's practice that you weren't able to. Just give yourself some grace and let yourself know that you are perfectly okay wherever you are today in your practice, in your life, that your practice is yours alone and it's going to be very personal to you. And just try to carry that grace that I've invited you to give for yourself through today's practice into your life, and having, maybe as we continue practicing that grace for ourselves, we can find it easier to extend that same grace to others as well. I invite you to bring your palms together at heart center. One deep inhale, maybe feeling your chest rise closer to your hands, and then exhale, feeling the chest and the belly falling. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste.